Adventures on the Sword Coast. Chapter 10. In the aftermath of the hostile encounter with the Wererats, Princess Lady Anastasia and Fairfax Whitbeam have located the remaining dwarf miners who survived the occupation of Togold Mine. One of the dwarves inquires if all of the Wererats have been cleared out of the tunnels, and if it is safe for them to resume their work. Fairfax reassures the dwarves, explaining that it's quite safe now, as Princess walks past dragging the lifeless body of Lady Zelene, whispering, "Yes, quite safe now." Don John arrives at the room where the dwarves have been hiding and says, "Howdy all, I see you found the dwarves. Good I managed to get this mess sorted out." Fairfax replies, "What do you mean you've sorted it all out?" Don John confidently states, "Well, I brought you all along. I'm always in charge of any situation." Fairfax Whitbeam performs an insight check and confirms that Don John actually really believes what he says. The dwarves mutter to themselves, concerned that now Don John is back in charge of Togold Mine, he will want to do a complete audit. Don John explains to Fairfax and Princess that he will need to return to Phandalin to make a full report to his bosses, who in turn will make a report to their bosses, and so on. He turns to the dwarves and starts asking lots of questions about the mining operations, no doubt getting the audit underway without delay. The dwarves can be seen grumbling and shaking their heads. Meanwhile, to the north of the dwarves' location, Zuh Rek and Amos have been battling a number of Carrion Crawlers. After killing a third, Zuh Rek has gone to investigate if there are any more around the corner. He calls out, "Oh, it's green." Amos the Destroyer replies, "What's green?" Oddly, Zuh Rek utters only one word back, "Bush." Confused and concerned for the safety of Zuh Rek, Amos charges around the corner and up the tunnel, only to find Zuh Rek calmly looking out across the open countryside, bathed in sunlight at the far side of Togold Mine. It appears they have found a rear entrance. Amos sighs, "Ah, you've seen a bush." Alexis Songblessed joins the two fighters at the rear entrance and asks Amos to move out of the way as he is getting hot in the afternoon sunlight. They notice a number of graves below. They consider investigating these, but then decide to go back and join the rest of the party. Amos shouts out, "Hello, Princess," as he wanders back into Togold Mine. "Is Fairfax with you?" As Amos finishes calling out, Fairfax and Princess arrive and they agree to explore the tunnels to the north. They open the door at the end of the north tunnel, which reveals a small office. It was probably the mine overseer's office, but it has been completely ransacked. Fairfax performs an investigation, but nothing of value is found. The party of adventurers head back and along the west tunnel, where they locate another door. Zuh Rek listens carefully at the door, but he doesn't hear anything. Slowly opening the door, he sees a storeroom with wheelbarrows and storage bins for the mine. In the corner of the room, he notices a crate, and within 3 gold-looking nuggets. This could be gold, thought Zuh Rek. He holds up the nuggets and shows them to Princess and says, "If you bite them, you can determine if they are real gold." Princess Lady Anastasia, believing Zuh Rek, takes a bite, smiles and says, "Tastes like gold." Fairfax Whitbeam confiscates the gold nuggets off the two fighters and puts them in his pack for safekeeping. Zuh Rek suggests that Princess should stop dragging the dead body of Lady Zelene around and put her in a wheelbarrow. As they head off down the tunnel, the slight squeak of the wheel on the barrow can be heard as Princess continues on her way with the body of Lady Zelene. The party follow the passage west and then north, arriving at another door. Princess puts the wheelbarrow down and listens at the door, but hearing nothing, she enters the room stealthily. Using her dark vision, she sees a sleeping figure in the nearest bed of what appears to be sleeping quarters. Princess notices another Wererat sleeping in a second bed in the corner of the room. Amos pulls out his great axe and approaches the nearest creature as Princess makes her way to the second. Alexis Songblessed whispers, "Rat-terminators." Amos holds his great axe against the neck of the sleeping Wererat and dispatches it by cutting down on its jugular. Princess takes out her Chow Chow puppy and clubs the other creature to death in its sleep. They search the room, but other than a number of beds, the party finds nothing of note in the room. Alexis wanders off again and enters a storeroom. Amos and the rest of the party hurry after him in case he gets into trouble again. At this point, Don John walks up from the south passage and shouts, "You all fine here?" Zuh Rek replies, "Yes, just dispatched another 2 Wererats." Amos reminds Don John about the promised payment for getting control of the mine back from the Wererats. Don John agrees that this debt will need to be repaid and will discuss it with Harbin Wester when they return to Phandalin. Don John declares, "I'll make it right, you're my good pals after all." Fairfax Whitbeam reminds Don John that they have some muscle in the party if payment is not made. Amos states that Don John seems like an honourable man and suggests they take a long rest after fighting all the Wererats, not to mention the Carrion Crawlers, before escorting him back to Phandalin. In the meantime, Don John asks the party to accompany him to the south chamber and look at 2 sacks the Wererats left behind. The party investigates the contents of the sacks and find 8 gold pieces, 20 silver pieces and 400 copper pieces, along with an unusual pair of goggles. Alexis Songblessed puts on the goggles and to his surprise they are magical and give the wearer dark vision, very useful for exploring mines and tunnels. As Princess already has dark vision and Amos doesn't want to touch anything magical like this, the party agree that Alexis can keep the goggles. The dwarves bid farewell to the party of adventurers and thank them again for clearing out the Wererats from Togold Mine. The dwarves are also relieved that they are taking Don John back to Phandalin so they can get on with some mining. Alexis asks if the dwarves want to get rid of Don John permanently. Surprised and flustered, they reply, "Not really." Anyway, Fairfax wants to make sure Don John stays alive until he pays the party the gold for clearing out the mine of Wererats. The party travels back to Phandalin around the foothills of the Sword Mountains without incident and arrive late that evening. The town seems busier than when they left, with more people out and about on business. As the sun starts to set, Amos suggests going to Stonehill Inn for a drink, and they can meet and see Harbin Wester and Sildar Hallwinter in the morning. Don John, relieved at being back at Phandalin, says, "Thanks for you all getting me back here. Let me buy you all a drink." Fairfax Whitbeam responds, "Well, that's very generous of you, Don John." Amos shouts, "Yay, free bar!" Amos says, "No, just 1 free drink, Amos." There is a good atmosphere in the Stonehill Inn tonight, with people chatting, laughing, enjoying drinks and eating food. The barmaid Elsa Stonehill is being kept quite busy, attending to all the customers. Don John orders drinks at the bar for the party from Toblin Stonehill. Princess orders 2 more drinks and knocks them straight back. Her incredible constitution is not even phased in the slightest. Zuh Rek looks at the beer Don John has bought for him. He then looks at Princess, passes her his drink, much to her delight. She then proceeds to down this one too. Recognising the protectors of Phandalin, Elsa comes over to chat to the party. She thought they'd been fighting dragons, but Fairfax explains it was Wererats. Confused, Elsa says she's never seen a were-dragon rat. Amos the Destroyer asks what else has been happening in Phandalin while they've been away. Elsa explains that since their battle with the dragon, it has not been seen in the area. Only a few farmers think they saw it in the distance, flying over the Sword Mountains. With the dragon not in the area, more and more people have been coming to Phandalin, some all the way from Neverwinter. Elsa has never been to Neverwinter, but she wants to go one day. She leaves the party to their drinks and asks them to shout out if they need any more. Fairfax Whitbeam goes to the bar and slips Toblin Stonehill a note, asking him to put all their drinks on Don John's bill. Toblin nods, smiles, and puts the note behind the bar. Zuh Rek starts talking to one of the farmers who saw the dragon in the Sword Mountains. He says that the party did a great job in scaring away the dragon. Zuh Rek just hopes it stays there. With the dragon not around, the farmer mentions that he's going to visit the ruins near Conyberry. When Zuh Rek asks why, the farmer explains that there is a rumour that all the gold from Conyberry was hidden in a nearby shrine after a great battle. Zuh Rek wonders if this was the shrine of Savarus, where the Wererats originated from. Interesting, he thought. Zuh Rek's thoughts are interrupted when a male puts his arm around Princess and Amos, shouting, "I found you! I found Lily and John!" Amos replies, "I think you've got us mistaken for someone else." The half-elf carries on talking. "Did you do anything about that thing?" Princess says, "Who's Lily?" "Oh, I'm Lily." "How could you say that, Lily? We've spent so much time together," says the half-elf. Princess, ever the opportunist, says, "It's your round at the bar." With this, the half-elf shouts to Elsa, saying, "Bring drinks for Lily and John." This lightly armoured adventurer, with short sword and light leather armour, appears to be a traveller. Amos notes that he appears to be quite drunk. He seems to want to join the party and slurs out, "Hey, John, Jim, Lily and James," finally looking at Zuh Rek. "So what's this thing?" asks Amos. The half-elf proceeds to explain that he bumped into a chap who said that he had a good job, pay was good, they needed to go to a tavern, make contact with the owner, and he will point the direction out for this good job. Zuh Rek performs an insight check. It is hard to read the half-elf, but clearly he has had too much to drink. Zuh Rek suggests that they should discuss this back at their barracks. With this, he throws the inebriated half-elf over his shoulder and walks out. Back at the barracks, Zuh Rek puts the half-elf into a cell to sober up, and spends the night in a chair keeping a watchful eye on him. The rest of the party take a long rest in the barracks to recharge their strength from the day's adventures. The half-elf is rudely awakened in the morning with a cold bucket of water, kindly provided by Zuh Rek, who proceeds to tell his guest about the tall tale of the bar fight he had with 5 other men. "Stop teasing me," smiles the half-elf, "but I'm sure we had a good night." Fairfax Whitbeam considers the matters that need sorting today, including a meeting with Harbin Wester and Silda Hallwinter, going to Miners' Exchange to get the 3 gold nuggets found in Torgold mine valued, plus he needs a diamond, for magic stuff, as Amos would say. The half-elf, now sober, introduces himself as Norman Silverfoot, and asks kindly to be let out of his cell. He looks across at Amos and says, "You don't look much like John," although he still remembers seeing Lily. Zuh Rek offers Norman Silverfoot some breakfast. Amos plays along and says to the half-elf, "Lily is making us all breakfast this morning," as the smell of cooked bacon fills the air in the barracks. Norman goes on to talk about how he's looking for his crew to do a job in the town of Lelon, which is west of Phandalin. Final instructions can be obtained from the smithy near Wayside Inn. He finishes his story by saying, "Any chance I can get out of this cell now?" With this, Zuh Rek unlocks the cell door. Norman Silverfoot steps out, thanks the party for their hospitality, and kisses Princess on the hand for the delicious breakfast. The party then head off to the Miners' Exchange and are greeted by Halia Thornton. She welcomes the protectors of Phandalin into her establishment. Fairfax exchanges pleasantries and asks if she can value the gold nuggets, as he places them on the counter. Halia gets out her scales and weighs the 3 nuggets, and then tests their purity. After some deliberation, she offers Fairfax 30 gold pieces for each nugget. Fairfax then takes the opportunity to purchase a diamond worth 50 gold pieces from Halia. This is a component he requires to cast a particularly powerful spell. After this, the adventurers visit the Townmaster's Hall, where they are met by Harbin Wester, who mentions that Don John informed him that they did a reasonable job for him at Torgold Mine. Fairfax Whitbeam responds by telling Harbin how they cleared out the mine of Wererats. Zuh Rek informs Harbin that they now have a few loose ends to tie up and will be gone from Phandalin for a few days. Harbin inquires as to what they are going to do. Amos the Destroyer says that they are going to Icespire Peak to kill the dragon. Zuh Rek also mentions how they had removed the orcs encamped at Butterskull Ranch and rescued Big Al Calzorn. Harbin believes this is all good news for the town's prosperity and suggests that they best let Sildar Hallwenter know about Butterskull Ranch and bids them good day. The party finds Sildar further down the corridor in his office. They recount their adventures, including the rescue of Big Al. Princess mentions that they were unable to find Buttercup, the prize cow. Sildar looks slightly confused, until Princess remembered the cow was actually called Petunia. Sildar is pleased with his newly appointed protectors of Phandalin, as life is returning back to normal in the town. Sildar mentions the other outstanding task, that of clearing out the old fort, so it can be used as a refuge in times of crisis. Zuh Rek suggests that they would go to Icespire Peak next and kill the dragon once and for all, so there would be no need to secure the fort. They all agree to this course of action, and it was suggested that they visit Sister Garelli to purchase some healing potions before they embark on this perilous quest. The party head across the market square, past the Shrine of Luck to Sister Garelli's house, to ask if she has any health potions. She greets the adventurers and informs them she has 5 potions costing 50 gold pieces each. Using the party funds, and with the addition of extra gold from each party member, they have just enough funds to purchase these basic health potions. As the party scrabble around to find the extra gold pieces, Sister Garelli laughs, as it reminds her of children buying sweets and rummaging for change. Amos is convinced Zuh Rek blushes at this comment. Princess Lady Anastasia wants to stop by the Lion Shield Costa to sell the scimitars she recovered on the last adventure. As they enter the shop, Alexis Songblessed recognises half the inventory on display, probably because he has sold most of it to the owner, Liney Greywind. Amos Destroyer looks around the shop and says, "I take it Alexa has been here a lot to sell weapons and armour." Liney greets the party, "Ah, my favourite suppliers," and goes on to offer 20 gold pieces for each of the scimitars Princess has brought into the shop. As they go to leave, Valine Firecrow taps Princess on the shoulder and whispers, "Hello, you were asking about something last time you were here." Princess asks, "What have you found out?" Valine believes she knows the location of a magical grey axe. There are rumours of a cavern on the edge of Neverwinter Wood. It leads deep underground, where you will find a weapon stolen by those that live in the darkness. She draws a small map showing the location, and Princess gives her a gold piece for her trouble. The party decide to help Princess Lady Anastasia find this magical weapon, as it may prove useful in their upcoming battle with the dragon at Icespire Peak. After collecting supplies from the barracks, they head off north along the Tribor Trail around midday. Princess is excited with the thought of becoming the owner of a magical grey axe. They make camp that evening. Alexis Songbless casts Leomund's tiny hut and blends the colour of the structure to the surrounding area, which provides them with a safe place to sleep for the night. Morning breaks. It is a reasonable day, but the sun is hidden by a cloud. They continue on using the map provided by Valine. They struggle to find the entrance to the cave until Alexis sees footprints in the mud that appear to have been made by boots, not animal tracks. As they climb down through the vines and into the cave below, it is muddy and moist, with algae growing on the walls. As they descend into the depths of Underdark, Fairfax Whitbeam casts light, as Alexis Songblessed puts on his dark vision goggles. Zuh Rek lights his trusty lantern, and Princess leads the way using her dark vision. Amos the Destroyer decides to follow Zuh Rek and his lantern. Seeing that Amos is the only one without a light source, Alexis casts light on his grey axe, which now glows in the dark. Amos the Destroyer is not impressed that he now has a glowing axe and grumbles under his breath as they make their way further into the darkness. Two hours pass as they continue to descend downwards. A voice whispers, "Hate the mage, don't hate the magic, Amos." To which Amos says, "Who said that?" With no reply, Amos continues to grumble about his glowing axe. They come to a branch in the tunnel and decide to take the left passage. Zuh Rek, now leading the way, thinks to himself that it feels like they have been walking in the dark forever. Alexis teases Amos by whispering, "Your weapon glows when a mage is nearby." They all proceed to move stealthily, apart from Zuh Rek, who with lantern and armour makes more noise than the rest of the party combined. All of a sudden, three creatures drop from the ceiling, surprising most of the party. Only Princess and Amos avoid being surprised as they enter into a rage. Princess Lady Anastasia swings her grey axe recklessly at the closest creature, hitting it twice. Amos the Destroyer then attacks another one. Two mighty blows from his grey axe kills the foul creature before it even lands on the ground. The third creature heads towards Fairfax, to which Amos shouts, "Look out! Roll towards me!" The dark mantle that Princess has injured lands on top of Fairfax, causing bludgeoning damage as it then slowly envelops his head. In its body he starts to struggle to breathe and is unable to see. The third dark mantle attacks Alexis but misses. Princess moves forward to help Fairfax and tries to pull the creature off his head. With great skill she pulls the dark mantle off Fairfax and throws it towards Amos. Then swinging his axe like a baseball bat, he hits the creature in the air, cutting it clean in two. Fairfax Whitbeam, recovering his composure, casts Shocking Grasp on the remaining dark mantle, with Alexis then striking the creature using Polearm Master. Zuh Rek looks back to see the creature moving forward to attack again. Drawing his heavy crossbow, he hits the dark mantle, pinning it against the wall. With the three dark mantles dead, Amos throws stones at the ceiling to see if there are any more, but nothing happens. Alexis thinks it looks like a squid and wonders if it could be eaten. Amos suggests not to try it and offers him some pork jerky instead. They head off down the south tunnel, where Princess notices that the muddy path starts to turn into a slabbed floor. Fairfax, sensing there could be danger ahead, casts mage armour on himself for protection. Zuh Rek notices that his trusty lantern is reflecting off a number of gas spores in the cavern ahead. Amos suggests to Zuh Rek that he fires his crossbow at one of the creatures to see what happens, but they decide against this course of action. Avoiding the gas spores, they head down the south tunnel. The floor is now paved and not muddy anymore. Princess Lady Anastasia goes on ahead. Although using her dark vision to see the way and being stealthy, the illumination from the following adventurers silhouette her against the tunnel walls. Two dark elf guards pointing hand crossbows at Princess call out, "You have one chance, and one chance only. Turn back now." Princess shouts back at the party, "Hey guys, got a couple of drow down here." They call out again, "Leave now or you don't leave. You have to the count of 10 to decide." Zuh Rek gets out his heavy crossbow, and Amos the Destroyer arms himself with 2 hand axes. Zuh Rek says, "I'm going to fire on their count of 2. Amos replies, "Are we going on 2 then?" As Zuh Rek and Amos debate their attack strategy, Princess runs towards the nearest dark elf shouting, "I'm going to offer you the same choice." Swinging her great axe, she lands at least one solid blow on the drow. Fairfax Whitbeam moves into the room and casts Chromatic Orb, as deadly lightning damage hits one of the dark elves. Zuh Rek now shoots his heavy crossbow at the nearest one to Princess, but misses. Amos backs him up by throwing his 2 hand axes, one of which hits the injured dark elf. Alexis Songbless moves forward and attacks the other guard. His first swing misses, but Polar Master finds its mark. He then casts Smite, causing further damage to the dark elf. The guard on the right now looks quite injured, but still manages to swing at Princess. This short sword causes minimal piercing damage, but the blade is coated in poison, causing the wound on Princess to burn. Princess shouts out to the rest of the party, "Careful, their weapons are poisoned," while looking down at her inflamed wound. The dark elf on the left casts Fairy Fire, as purple light falls from the air, hitting Fairfax and Zuh Rek. Princess now recklessly attacks the drow in front of her. She lands a solid hit, but the dark elf manages to parry the blow. Fairfax, now covered in purple light, casts Magic Missile at the drow attacking Princess, causing massive damage. It drops to the floor dead, much to the surprise of Amos. Zuh Rek, also covered in purple light, brings out Lightbringer and manages to hit the other drow with at least one solid blow, even with the distraction of the Fairy Fire. Amos the Destroyer now recklessly attacks the remaining drow. He lands good solid blows on his foe, but the Dark Elf still manages to parry at least one of these attacks. Alexis Songblessed, using his Flag Spear, severely damages the drow, who then attacks Zuh Rek with advantage due to the effects of Fairy Fire. Damage is limited, but again poison burns into the open wound. Undeterred, Zuh Rek hits back with Lightbringer using Ricochet, but the Dark Elf managed to parry his blow. Princess jumps up onto the platform the Dark Elf is standing on and recklessly attacks with her great axe again. The drow now staggers as a result of the blow. Fairfax Whitbeam, seeing the second drow falter, casts Eldritch Blast, as beams of crackling energy surround the Dark Elf, who in turn screams and falls off the raised platform to the floor below, dead. Seeing Fairfax finish off the second drow, Amos the Destroyer turns around and gives the sorcerer a wry smile. After the battle, the party recover a number of weapons from the bodies of the Dark Elves. No doubt these will end up at the Line Shield Costa in Phandalin. They turn to see the tunnel ahead, and the party decide to prepare themselves to enter the Underdark.